Hey everybody, welcome to my live stream. Let me see if I can't turn off that music for you. Oops. Sound. Sorry, I gotta turn this music off here. There we go. Okay, it looks like the music must be off right now. Hey, okay, this is my my SCA helmet that I used to wear. I fought like 4 wars with this. And it's 14 gauge steel. I haven't had this on in a long time. Fought many wars with that in the SCA, Society of Creative Anachronism. Whew, that was fun. Okay, let's see. It looks like my live stream is a little bit laggy here. Okay, this is my let's see. Oh, we need some light actually. Let me turn some lights on. Sorry, I guess I wasn't fully prepared. Okay, is that better? Okay. Hey, welcome to the Three Orcs channel. This is my second live stream for the weekly update for the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign, the Verbobonc campaign guide 576 common year. And I figured that I'd do a live stream every week to catch everybody up to date on the progress of the project so far. Because I realize, you know, I do a lot of work daily, and it's hard for everybody to keep up with, you know, all the, with the progress of all the articles. Because I complete like 5 to 6 articles a day. And that's a lot, and I know that a lot of people work for a living, and you know, I focus on this, you know, 5-6 hours a day, and you know, I know not everybody can keep up with it. So I felt like, you know, instead of forcing people to go onto the World Anvil website to see what I've done so far, or to be logged into Three Orcs Discord channel all the time, because every time I do some artwork or I create an article, I actually post it on Three Orcs, and I give people the opportunity to collaborate and comment and talk about these articles as I'm developing them. Because I do have a lot of questions. You know, I ask my Greyhawk experts out there that's on my Discord channel, you know, what they think, and before I finalize it. What's great about World Anvil, creating content for that, is I can edit it at any time. So if somebody eventually gets around to making a comment about a particular article, I can go back in and edit it, no problem. You know, it's a real problem when I'm developing an actual module for publication on the Dungeon Masters Guild. Because, you know, they're purchasing a module, an actual product, and it needs to be done. You know, I can't just email them later, say, yeah, page 32, I changed some things about the inn. You know, so here's a new update. You know, so I have to be very careful when I create that finished product. And so this is just a weekly update here of you know, what I've been doing all week. And World Anvil has the middle column on the front page. It's supposed to be parts of it. It's supposed to be like it's a section where it lists my recent articles I've edited and created, but it only lists 3 at a time. You know, and I do a lot more than that, so it's not really useful. And so it's best for me just to, you know, add text on Discord. You know, I link it on Discord for everybody to say, hey, I did this, it's done. So I felt like, you know, a weekly live update. That way it gives you guys the opportunity to ask me questions. You know, we can talk about not only these locations and NPCs and organizations, but also your campaigns. You know, if you have questions about what your group is up to and where they're at in the campaign, you know, I can give you some advice on, you know, what to use, you know, in that location and those NPCs in the plot. You know, not only of the Temple of Elemental Evil module, but there's a lot of other sub quests and missions out there in the area, because this is the epic version of the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. It's not just running the module from the pages. It's not a dungeons log. Now, you can run it that way if you like, like many DMs have done in the past over the decades, but it doesn't do the module justice. It's not how Gary Gygax envisioned it. You know, when you first originally wrote the module, he had 1,000 pages. And there's no way he can publish that many. And he didn't give all his notes to Frank Mencher when Frank took over the project to write the module. And so some things were subtly changed, like he got rid of Loth, big example, because they're supposed to connect to the G series, the Giant series, and the Drow series, and the Queen of Spiders, the Q1 series. And I follow, you know, the investigation, all the work done by Joseph Locke of Greyhawk Grognard, where he wrote the T0 module, which is the introduction to the T1, and then he also wrote the T5 module, which adds a 5th level to the dungeon. That's where the shrine for the Elder Elemental God is. There's no more Thurisden, because it did not work. That's a shoehorn fix. It caused a major problem in the campaign. And then he wrote the Q2 module, which kind of connects this all together. So it all makes sense. And that's what I'm going with. And I'm running this campaign in the original timeline. The 576 common year is the default timeline for the box set for the Temple of for the World of Greyhawk. But 578 is the official timeline for running the Temple of Elemental Evil. And so that means all articles have to be referenced to that timeline. But I'm using all these Living Greyhawk modules to fill and flush out the area, just like the Village of Hamlet is. The Village of Hamlet's done. It was done in the T1 module. I expanded it, of course, and a couple other people throughout the years did it too. But it's on my World Anvil website with the interactive map, which is above and beyond anything anybody's ever done. And so you can actually run it from the World Anvil website for your players. But all the other villages in the area, this is a sandbox campaign, so they're all fully flushed out, just like the Village of Hamlet is. You know, what's done is Shir Knob, Ostverk, Penwick, Etterboke, the city of Verbobonc, which is massive. Nolb is done. And right now I'm halfway through the Twilight Falls. Twilight Falls is like 10 miles, a little bit more than 10 miles northeast of Nolb. And we also have somebody else working on Taymouth. I also got some of Mull done. And I'm planning to go further into the Gnarley Forest and get the 4 Elven clans done. The Dragon is done, which is I just added yesterday. That's in the Gnarley Forest. And I was planning to move into the Wild Coast and the City of Divers, because that's all within the play area. It's in the campaign area of the Temple of Elemental Evil. So you can start your players from anywhere. You can start them in the Wild Coast, and they'll end up eventually to the Temple of Elemental Evil. You can start them in Divers. You can start them in the City of Verbobonc. That's where I start all my campaigns at. You can start them anywhere within like 500 miles. And that's the purpose of this project, to fully flush out like no other campaign's ever done before. You will find no campaign that's ever been made, published before, that has this much detail in the campaign world. And so this right now is just an update of what I did this week. Let's see if anybody joined us. I got a couple of people watching. Hey, John D. It looks like John joined us. Now, John, he let's go ahead and put this up here. There we go. There's John. He said good evening. So I added this little feature to my stream where I can pop up people's comments on the channel here. John is a very experienced dungeon master for Greyhawk, and I met him like 5-6 years ago running Greyhawk in the Wild Forest on Fantasy Grounds. I played in his game, and it got halted because of scheduling conflicts. Something was going on. I think he had family problems or something was going on at that time, and so it was delayed for like 3 or 4 months, and I got sidetracked and I didn't return. But he's a fantastic dungeon master, and he really knows his stuff about Greyhawk. So he's joined us here. A new guest also joined us. I don't know his name, but he's a new guest. Thank you for joining. So I'm gonna, if you guys have any questions, by all means ask, and I'll answer them as soon as I notice it on the screen here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue onwards here. Let's go to a different screen. Let's see what we got here. So this screen, I'm going to share the World Anvil website for now, and I'm just going to go over what I've done all week. Let me go ahead and interact with this here. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. Interaction. There we go. I got tons of screens in front of me. Can I scroll up and down? Let's see. I'm interacting with it, but for some reason it's not moving. Oh, this is a new app I'm using. I'm using Prism Live Studio. I'm no longer using OBS. I don't know why I can't interact with it. Let's try it again. So I'll go to World Anvil and right click and click on interact. And it's not interacting. Ah, this is going to halt me. This is going to slow me up. This is not good. Hello, good evening. So I can't really test this until I go live. You know? And unfortunately, I'm live. Here I am testing it. I don't want to spend time trying to troubleshoot anything. But it looks like interact doesn't work. I wonder if maybe I'll give it a new IP address. A link to the campaign. So let me go ahead and go to the campaign and copy paste the link and re-add it. So maybe that'll help. That link looks pretty good. Control, use custom, shut down, refresh. So refresh cast browser, okay. All right, I'm gonna try to interact again. Hopefully that works. Oh, I think maybe because I locked it? Okay, let's try that again. Oh, interaction doesn't work. That's too bad. I can't believe this. All right, I'm gonna have to add it as a screen capture. And so to do that, let me add the source here. Sorry, it's gonna only take a minute. So display capture, good. Okay. I'm gonna call it World Anvil and hit OK. Okay. Let's capture cursor. So I get to pick a display. So this display looks like it's yeah, it's my second monitor. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring over the. Can you see that? Let me scroll up and down. Oh, hold on, sorry. I had to go live first to see. Let me go ahead and make this fit. Doopy doopy doop. There we go. I'm just trying to make it fit. Okay, make it fit in the window here. Okay, so get rid of that. Almost done. Almost there. Kind of fits a little bit. Okay, and then that. And here we go. Let's see if I can make it work. There we go. See how long it took me? No time at all. Okay. Oh, by the way, I made this campaign guide plan here. Now, this is just an article I wrote. Let's see what John had to say here. That popped up. Good. So John B said, do you Steam your D&D game on here? Well, people have asked me that before. The problem is there's a couple problems. One, it distracts from the game. And watching somebody play D&D is boring. The only way it's not boring if it's if the high production value. You know, kind of like that one channel. They're all actors. So they're all mic'd. They all have a camera on them. They're all lit, and they're actors, and they role play for the camera. And then of course they go in later and edit all that dead stuff out. You never see them look up rules. There's 20-sided die. Those guys, they do live streaming. I don't know if they edit. So those guys are pretty good. Yeah, they're normal players. You know, they're not actors. And it's fairly interesting to watch them play. Especially if you want to use, the case use of watching them is to learn how to play the game, like they play old school essentials. And if you want to learn how to play, how it works, you can watch them play. And they got like 30 episodes of one campaign or another. I think they got like 3 or 4 seasons now. And it's a big production. It's a lot of work. Another problem, the most important problem, they all want to be on camera. They have to. They're gonna want to be on camera. I don't know any players in any of my groups that ever want to be on camera. There's no way. It's not going to happen. They're just not going to want to do it. You're just going to see dead icons on the screen. And that's no fun. And even if I don't think they even want to do that, to tell you the truth. Not all players are the best role players. They're kind of one-dimensional. And they're not very eloquent. And so you really don't want to see them play either. It's up to me as a dungeon master to, bring it out of them, to encourage them, to get them to role play more. And it's ongoing getting them to do it thing. It's a lot of effort. It's really hard to find 4 or 5 really excellent players to go on camera to live stream. Let's see. So John B says that is fake in D&D and that never shows dice rolls. Yeah, you never see the dice rolls. I think 20-sided die does. I can't remember. I haven't watched them in a while. But John D said he's retired, just like I am. Isn't that great? You can work on this every day. All these people in my Discord, they all work for a living. I hate it. In the middle of the day, I'm always asking them questions, and it's like crickets until one of them pops up. He says, Saturday evening, Temple of Elemental Evil game going on. Party ambushed at the abandoned farmstead by remnants of the earth, air, and water temples. Good times. Nice set-piece battle. Yeah. So it looks like you're abandoned just outside the temple near Knoll, where all the farmsteads are. Yeah, John's running his campaign based off years of putting his together. I don't think he's really using any of my material on World Anvil. But he does run a very experienced and in-depth campaign. So that's great that you're still running it. That's good. It's hard to find players for a serious campaign. And that's the thing. Sometimes you have to point that out. So you got all these DMs out there that have opinions on D&D and how to run it. You got DMs that want to ad-lib, just run it off the cuff, don't make any plans, don't prepare. And you're talking about different kind of games. I'm talking about an epic campaign, sandbox campaign. An epic campaign, a full campaign takes a lot of preparation and effort to put it together. These other games I noticed, these DMs that run it off the cuff, they're playing pretty much limited scope campaigns, not very grand. And it's more, sometimes it's goofy, sometimes it's not. And the depth is kind of there, but it depends on the DM. But usually I find it's not. It's kind of superficial. But some DMs are good at it, and others aren't. I used to work with TSR, and my job was to recruit Dungeon Masters and train them a long time ago. And I was trying to teach them to do that, to role play while running the game, even in combat. And the thing is everybody has their likes. You got a lot of different kind of players too. You got the kind of players that like to play board games, and they like to create characters, and they like to plan out their character sheet until 20th level and mid-max everything. And then you got other role players, which is I encourage. That's why I like new players that role play off the cuff. They don't really look at their character sheet to find out what they can do. They just kind of role play and run with it. They're in character, and that's the kind of players I like. But I also want to run this full campaign. So when I'm running old school essentials, I was getting to a point here. When I was running old school essentials like Hole in the Oak and Incandescent Grottos, those are perfect, immediately engaged adventures. I mean, you're right there at a dungeon, and you're immediately engaged, and you're exploring this dungeon, and it's a short mini campaign. And so this is a great way to vet players, to find out what kind of player they are, to find out if they're the kind of player that's going to enjoy an epic, involved campaign with a lot of lore, a lot of background, a lot of character development, things like that. So, so John B said I do it. Well, if you provide your link, John, I'd like to see your live stream. I know that it's a lot of effort and work, but you have to have the players that agree to do it anyway, and that's the big problem right there. And I don't have that. So I wrote this. Let's see, where is it? This article here. Let's see, I haven't updated it in a couple of weeks. Got 2 screens here. Sorry. So 3 orcs has been assigned to all these villages here, and they're done, and they're hyperlinked too. So you can actually go there and click on it and go to that location, that city, that town, and read it, and all the locations in it, and all the organizations, and all the NPCs. So on the right-hand side, this is status. And so we go down to Reinhurst. Randy Blair is one of our 3 orcs members. He's doing Reinhurst, Woodstock, and Glory for the last 8 months. I wish he would finish it. That'd be great. He says good stuff takes time. All right. Littleborough, I did 5 or 6 locations there. DM was running his players through there, and he needed this. And so I tackled it really quick, but I needed to get to Nolb at the time. Nolb is much more important. But I did a side trip, and I did Littleborough for him. Desuits Ford, Gallows Corner, Emerdy, and Anshan. Emerdy and Anshan are 2 small little thorps I created myself, because I saw a need for that in the campaign world. Little tiny settlements. It's along the Fenza Tor. Gallows Corner and Desuits Ford is done on my private site. I have to rewrite it. So I have over 15 articles already done in the last 7 years on my private website, but they all have to be rewritten, and new artwork has to be done for them. And not only just rewritten to look better, to be laid out better, but to use the existing lore of the new campaign website, so it all ties together. So it's a lot of work. Pending locations here. So I don't have anybody. You can see that good. I don't have anybody. I wonder if I can scroll in more, zoom in more. Is that better? I don't have anybody to do these yet. I'm trying to find Dungeon Masters to go ahead and at least send me an article, and I can rewrite it for the World Anvil website. Tristane Holligant. Holligant is another 3 orcs member, and he wants to do Tristane and Eglath, Oakham, and Themouth. I did the first page of Themouth, the main page, to get them kickstarted, to get them going. Another Dungeon Master volunteered to write that one. He's a writer. Can't remember the name at the top of my head right here, but he hasn't done it yet. But I did kickstart that off. I don't have anybody for these yet. Not yet. Twilight Falls in the middle of... Holligant sent me all those articles for Twilight Falls. So the thing about a lot of these Dungeon Masters, they run their campaigns in 594 Common Year and up, and so a lot of their articles are written for Living Greyhawk stuff after that timeline. And so I have to... What I've been doing lately is I do a before and after in the article. So I make sure I show you in the article, what happens by the time it's 576, and then what happens after. Gnarley Forest. Okay, there's a big hole in the campaign. Huge hole. Right in the middle of the Gnarley Forest. Right dead center, right down the middle. Nothing. Not even Living Greyhawk did anything. They got 4 short little paragraphs of what those clans are like, which is not good. It's not good at all, because we have players that want to play an elf in the campaign. What places are you going to come from as an elf? I'm sure you can be an elf from an elf family from the city of Verbobonc. Yeah, you can do that, because there is the Elven Quarter. But you can also be from Selene, to the south, the Fey Kingdom of Selene. So what other choices do you have? Well, you don't want to have a background from someplace too far away, because then you do a lot of shoehorning and hand waving, and you really can't return there in the campaign for training, for information, for help, stuff like that. So these 4 clans are kind of xenophobic. There's not even half elves there. They're 100% pure elf. If you're a half elf, you're not allowed to live there. They'll kick you out. And that's why there's a lot of half elves in Ostfirk and some of those towns in the area. That's the real big reason right there, because they have these love affairs. Like there's a trader shop in Ostfirk, and she's half elf, and I think her mother was from Clan Meldorin. But you know the story, and that story is in that article and her NPC. So you can roleplay that. So I need somebody to write those up. I hope Heligon can do that because he wrote up the Celine stuff. You know, he used to write for Dragon magazines and Dungeon magazine and Living Greyhawk. And Numeral, all these right here need to be done. All these. Those are in the Wild Coast right there. Some of these. Organizations. I wrote the Dwarves of the Gnarley Forest, the Fairy Folk, Gnomes, Swanmay, and the Woodsman. Woodsman's done. I need to update that. I already did that. Greenway Valley. So these are the small towns in Greenway Valley. Oh, I did Kron. I need to update this. Kron's done. But it's only 6 locations. I don't think anybody's going to stop there very often. Then these are the organizations I did. And here's Divers. So Divers really needs to be done. I got the front page of Divers done. Let's see what John had to say. Did you buy Goodman Game Book of Temple of Elemental Evil? Yeah. Let's see. My room is a mess. I need to clean this up. I'm so busy working on these projects that I just don't have time. I need to do my backyard and clean out my garage. Yeah, I have them. A couple of problems with this. One, there's no PDFs, which is huge. You have to have PDFs these days, especially if you're going to run your game online. You got to have a PDF, without a doubt. If you're running at Fantasy Grounds or something. I think Fantasy Grounds, I don't know if they have a, you can buy this on Fantasy Grounds. I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while. The artwork is pretty cool. You know, it's old school, old style, hand-drawn artwork. It's kind of quickly done. You know, it's like 8th grade art style. And I like the maps. They're really cool, old school too. But the problem is they added some content to the Temple of Elemental Evil module in the 5th edition version. In the back of the book, or one of these books is 5th edition. It's very limited. You know, they added some descriptions, but what was a real big letdown, big missed opportunity, is they didn't expand Nulb. It even says that in the original module. Gary Gygax expected you to expand Nulb. He only gave you 4 locations as an example of what to do. He wanted you to fill it out just like the Village of Hamlet was. They didn't. They failed to do that. That was a big letdown. They also didn't fix the problem with the module. They kept it as is. You know, I could see the original part staying. You know, they published the original material, but they didn't fix. They should have fixed the problem in the 5th edition. Their rewrite, their version of it. That's what Joseph Block did. Greyhawk Ragnard. You know, he fixed the module. That's why you wrote the T0 module and the T5 module. Where they added a 5th level below the temple and added that shrine to the Elder Elemental God, which is supposed to be there. So that's you know, it's kind of, who wrote this? Chris Doyle, Rick Moffitt, and Tim Walzinski. You know, these guys are talented, yeah, you know, they do good work, but I don't think they really did their research with the Temple of Elemental Evil. That they didn't go that deep, and that's a very big disappointment. I got some nuggets from it from my campaign, but truthfully, there wasn't a lot of things I found useful in these books. I can't even use the artwork because they're copyrighted. So, okay, what do you think about that? Is that popping up? Yep. Okay. So John B said, "Did you buy Goodman Games' book of Temple of Elemental Evil?" So I told you that. Okay. All right. So let's get out of this thing. Wild Coast. There's the Wild Coast. Isn't Bright Tower Keep a module? I know some of these are from modules. Most of these, just to let you know, in case you guys don't, some of you don't know that's watching, these locations came into being from the Living Greyhawk modules. There's thousands of modules written between the year 2000 and 2008 when Greyhawk was it. Greyhawk was the official campaign world for D&D. And the Living Greyhawk, the triads of the different areas, and the Dungeon Masters wrote many modules for the campaign setting. And they only ran these campaign adventures at conventions or game stores. And you could not get these modules. They're not published. They're not publicly available. You only get a copy of it if you're running it. So don't ask. I don't have copies for you. I can't give them away. It's copyright. It would get in trouble for that. And you can't find a website that has them either. You go look if you want. You could try looking, but I haven't found any. There used to be a website that had all this stuff, but they took it down. So I'm in communication with these people, the triad and the writers and authors, and and that's just where my campaign is derived from. And so they're giving me permission and helping me create this project. The problem with these different modules, they weren't always consistent. They got a lot of facts wrong. They had their own ideas about it. They sometimes contradicted each other, and it was a big problem. And I've been working on this for 7 years, trying to get all these modules and figure them out, like where the border is between the barony of Osbury and Molinius. Good luck figuring that out. The map that they do have out there is in 594 Common Year, after the fact, after they got married or you got her lands or something. And that does me no good in 576 Common Year. I don't care what happened after that, because we're running the Temple of Elemental Evil, the original timeline. So anyway, that's where these locations came from, those modules. And so another thing about these locations, very limited information about each of these. Safeton was well developed. It had a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of articles for Safeton. But some of these places only have a paragraph. Mole had only a paragraph. Sheer Knob. And look at my Sheer Knob article. My Sheer Knob article is huge. It's like 26 locations in it, and NPCs and organizations. And that's what I do. I expand it like you should, like the Village of Hamlet was. That argument about Dungeon Masters, you don't have to do all of this work. Yeah, I know. And also the box set of Greyhawk. You don't have to do all that work. Why create a campaign world? Why even have the box set of Greyhawk? Well, somebody did it for you, so you can use it. What they're saying is they're not doing it themselves for their campaign. It's too much work. But if you have another person doing it for you, it's there for your use if you need it, which is awesome. Celine is done. So anyway, this is here for you guys to look at. It's like a status report. All right, let's get out of here and go back to what's been going on. I wonder if I can do this. Let's see, edit article. I think I can. Oh yeah, I can go here. Let's try this. No. Go there. You can see all that good. I'm gonna go full screen. See what happens here. Where's my full screen at? There. No, it's not full screen. Where's my full screen at? Oh, it's hiding. Okay, let's see. Is that better? Okay, so... Oh. I have to add the link. Okay, so add the link again. World Anvil. Add the new link. There we go. Okay. Really? Oh, I know why. Hold on. Sorry. Go here. This is what I'm using, right? So, World Anvil. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. No, that's not it. Almost. This is driving me nuts. Okay, so add a source, and I want window capture, display capture. World Anvil, existing. Aha! Okay. You need to see me though. Head bottom right. 3 orcs cam. Let's bring this down. Okay, almost there. Okay, bring it over. Okay, now let's make it look better. So I think that looks good. Okay, good. All right, so this is what my World Anvil looks when I'm working on it. This is my edit screen. So I can see what I did this week. Start at the bottom. Twilight Falls. So this is all the Twilight Falls articles I wrote. Let's see if this even pops up. Yeah, John D said, love the creativity drive, the great DMs. Thank you. Twilight Falls. So I did 13 locations plus the Falls of Twilight. That's like the 14th location. So that's as far as I got in Twilight Falls. But I had to finish up the Lizardman Village map. And so I kind of stopped here for now. And I need to get that Null module put out for the DMs Guild. I've been dragging on that. So I kind of halted on development of Twilight Falls for now. Okay, you guys can hear me. I updated that. So I updated the Gnarley Rangers, which is a huge update. I wonder if I can do this. Hey, that works. Good. Ha! I can finally right-click. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can see my mouse. Yeah, you can see my mouse too. Okay, update the Gnarley Rangers. Huge update. I added this. So Hologant, again, he's a great resource. He sent me this map. So what's interesting is he did good. He did really good with this. So he actually created regions of the Gnarley Forest for the Gnarley Rangers. These are like their zones that they're responsible for, their Ranger Knights. So the Kron Woodlands, lower left-hand corner by Hamlet and Ostwerk, they deal a lot with House Delavu Manor in Ostwerk. There's a ranger assigned to that area. And some regular rangers, Night Ranger and Senior Ranger. Korasoth, where's Korasoth at? Korasoth is in the middle somewhere. I have to zoom in more. Can you guys see that? Let's zoom up. And then the Tor Badlands is part of Twilight Falls and Nob. Central Wildlands, Lake Verge is the Divers region. The Riverland, I think this wasn't really mentioned before, but I know that the Rangers from Thurandi come into this region too. So that's something I want to clarify with him about that. Because if you go north of the Velvediver River, there's the Green Jerkins. They're Green Jerkins Rangers, and they're north in the Gold County. And because there's more of the Gnarley Forest up there, as you can see from the map. And then the Greyhawk Verge is far east in the Central Wildlands. And you see the 4 clans in the middle there. The Welk Borderlands has a lot of activity. That ranger has his hands full. So on the right-hand side is the notable members. And if you scroll down more, is the notable Ranger Knights. And so I already had Wynn, but he wasn't a Knight Ranger. I thought he was originally, but I was corrected. He's not a Ranger Knight. He's a Senior Ranger. So Owen is a Ranger Knight. Get my cursor over here. So so I labeled it. So I'm trying to make this presentable as possible so it's quick to reference. Kron Woodlands, and then you have the Riverland and Lake Verge. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can. And you got Tor Badlands. And where's Annika? Annika, I should highlight that. I should bold it. I didn't put where Lake Verge. She's the guardian of Lake Verge. So Belgin, right here, he works with her in Lake Verge. Yeah, I need to bold that and put it up front. So it's right next to her name. That's a good idea. On the right-hand side is this, the information about Junior Rangers, Gnarly Rangers, Senior Rangers, Ranger Knight. That's all from Living Greyhawk. It's good information to have if you need it. You know what's really important about this? If you have a player that's a Ranger Knight, Gnarley Ranger, because this is his organization. It's a lot of material for a player. And you can use this in the campaign. This is the relationships they have with all the elves, the druids, the woodsmen of the Gnarley. I updated the woodsmen of the Gnarley too. The woodsmen are the typical humans that live in the Gnarley Forest. They're woodsmen. They live out the woods, hunting and harvesting and wood and stuff. Mounted borderers, they're along the borders, and the merchants that come through here. And they're being preyed upon by the brigands and bandits out of Nulb. So that's what I updated. I also updated the threats. So I added the Second Rising of the Temple of Elemental Evil, the Jagged Fangs tribe, those are the Gnolls. The Howling Moon clan was his orc werewolves. Those are not mine. Those are Hologants from his campaign world. I added it, but all the stuff I add here, you don't have to use in your campaign. If you want to use it, it's a whole article for this with a lot of artwork too. If you think that's cool, use it in your campaign. The Crimson Reapers. No, that's the main. Excuse me. That's the main brigand gang. That's base of operations is in Nulb. They're from Divers. And that's this is a huge element in the campaign. They're pivotal. They're the main boots on the ground humans in this campaign. That brigand gang. They are not the same bandits as what Larth has in the Moat House. The Iron Claw clan is the Bugbears. So there's bugbears in the Moat House. There's bugbears in the Temple of Elemental Evil, but they're unnamed. They have no information about them. They're very vague. So I gave you lore for that clan. That way the players in the campaign can track them down and go to their home base if you want to. Also, it points out the location of where these recruits are coming from, reinforcements, which adds an element of strategy, tactics, and in the game. The White Rock clan. So this is the hill giants you find in those Living Greyhawk modules, like in Sheer Knob, and the raid upon the gnomes from Greenway Valley. There's a hill giant. Yeah, this is the clan they're from. In the Sheer Knob modules, the three of them, the gnomes beg the players in Village of Hama. One of the gnomes comes to the Village of Hama and begs them to help them. We're being raided by Blackthorn orcs, and hill giants. Please come help us. And they get down there and they get introduced to the clan head gnome, and they go, we think there's a outpost in the Crown Hills where these hill giants are, and this is it. I even have a VTT map for this location. Anyway, I updated. This is an old article that I updated with this new information. Okay, so let's go back to this. Annika. So she's the new character I wrote up. She was written a couple days ago. Annika is badass. She is cool. She's a Ranger Knight, and she's got a lot of lore, a lot of background, a lot of information here. She's the young flame of the Gnarly. And I gave her dialogue and quotes and a stat block. I'm starting to do all my stat blocks in 5th edition because eventually I'll be creating modules for the Dungeon Masters Guild, and that's required. But any Dungeon Master that knows what he's doing can convert these stat blocks to any rule set you use. Originally, my idea for this whole website was to have minimal stat blocks to be used in any rule set. But I didn't want to cause more work for me later. So I just decided to do all 5th edition stat blocks, and there's a tool I use to convert them for me. So that's kind of cool. I had to keep an eye on it because sometimes it's not very accurate, and sometimes it changes the attributes. But wait a minute, that dexterity was supposed to be 16. Did you include that in the armor class? So I have to watch out for that. Anyway, she's an apprentice of the Great Druid. So she served. So another person I created, I need to create a link here. Namur, the Oak Fatherer. She was trained by him. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. Look at that. She's a Ranger Commander. Everything you need to know about her is here. All this stuff. So below is a bunch of things that are happening that she's up to, that she's doing, including some plot points. And then on the right-hand side is all her basic stats. She's 25 years old, 5'7". And as you can see, I put organization links in here, like the Gnarley Rangers. See how I do that? There's links for everything. That's her race. She's mixed race. Her ethnicity is Oridin and Solus. So I put them both there. This website only allows me to add 3. 2. I can't add all 3 for a mix. The Gnarley Forest location. I don't have an exact location for her yet. I should create an article for those zones on that map I got. This is her gear. And anyway, yeah, I created her this week. Okay, let's go back. She's awesome. She would be really good in the campaign. I think the players would like her a lot. So this is the... I finished up this village of the lizard folk in the middle of the Fenzator. And then I finally finished the map. So I have a whole I did a whole video on this last week. So you can just watch that video. But the map is done. And real quick, on the right, that's all the locations I did. But what I want to show you, what I'm working on now, I started last night. Let's see if I can't get to it. Where is it? Photos. Is this it? Yeah. I came prepared. Oh, sorry. There you go. I came prepared. So I was messing around. Let's see if I can't zoom in and stuff. Yeah, I can. Okay. I was messing around last night trying to get the layout. So these are all the locations that are keyed in the Lower Lizardman Village. So as you can see, this bottom right hand number 22 is the exact same shape as the above ground canyon. I got that done. So I started just sketching this out with Dungeon Draft. So these are the breeding dens. That's going to be a big complex there of pools. I'm going to add pools of water, submerged rooms and tunnels with water. I'm going to add slopes and stairs, to fill this all in to make it more interesting. Some of the tunnels will only be 5 feet wide. Each square is 5 feet. So that's kind of cool. I'll add some light coming from the outside here, spilling in. I don't think I should add too much light sources for torches and stuff because you guys will probably do that in your VTT map. I don't want to mess you guys up. I haven't connected these rooms yet, but these rooms are more ancient ruins, stone blocks. It won't be natural caves, so I'll have to use different graphics for that. I'll just kind of placing them. So anyway, this is what I was working on last night. Big pain in the butt. This stuff takes forever. Okay, so let's get out of that. So that's what I was doing last night. Doop. What happened? I want to hide it. I thought I hid it. It's not hiding for some reason. Okay. Oh, I see why. I get it. I'm glad I was in IT for a while. Okay, so now let's go back. I want to move along. I don't like wasting people's time. Laris. Oh, you guys are going to love this. All right. So this is what I'm good at. It's this whole idea of how to DM, how to run a good game. You know how I found out in the 80s, before I worked, with TSR, that players, they metagame, and they go melee around killing stuff. They slaughter everything and loot it. And they want to know how many experience points they get. So with the bad guys, like pivotal bad guys, like a leader or something, a lot of Dungeon Masters get frustrated because it's really hard to really get the personality across of the bad guy or any expositions, any speeches without interrupting the game. Without the players feeling like maybe they got artificially halted in the game for this to trigger to happen. And I used to have seminars for this at the conventions about how you can roleplay during melee rounds. Melee rounds a long time. You can say stuff and do other things. It's not an action to say something. So what I did is to help me roleplay as a Dungeon Master so I don't have to stutter. I write out dialogue. It's also good to have this so you can copy paste it if you're running this online and only one player hears this. Like 2 guards, gossiping on guard duty, and the thief sneaks up and eavesdrops on them to find out what's going on and spies on them for the group. And so what I'll do is I don't like static encounters. They're boring. Monsters aren't sitting around in their dungeon rooms waiting for the players to come in, throw the door open and kill them. There should be some kind of dramatic activity happening all the time. And so anyway, I write these out in beforehand to help, because I don't want to slow the game down either, And so I want to make sure I do this quickly. Part of the role playing. So as you can see, I wrote out this dialogue here. So dumps backpack. So Loris guards will dump their backpacks out. So if the players lose, they go after Larith, and they lose, and they surrender. They lost, which is 80% of the time that's what's going to happen, because most people try to do that module at first level. Because it's a no-win situation to take on Larith, unless you get really lucky with a sleep spell. So anyway, so the guards dump the backpacks. They examine the contents, and the Larith comments, "So this is what's going to happen. You will be enslaved. Tell us everything about what you know of the Moat House and what you know of my associates. You will tell me everything. These friends of yours will be taken to a crypt, and I have great use for this meat. You, my friend, will be taken to the Fane of the Eye, to the temple." So there's a lot of information given in this dialogue that I write out to help put ideas in the player's head, give them clues to build a campaign world. So anyway, I have all this information here about questioning, and if the players, ask about about the cabin in the woods, and even during combat, I have dialogue written out. During combat, during the melee rounds, like the warrior priest, he's shouting orders. Gaddis, get over here with them, bring them to their knees, things like that. When Lara's casting a darkness spell, I do it with flavor, and it actually, he calls upon the power of the Elder Elemental God. He says that out loud. So this is stuff that you can, tidbits of information you give the players during combat to get them to know more about the campaign world. It's information that's really hard to give the players, normally. He's casting the Bane is a curse spell, and the description is spot on. And Larith in battle, the way he acts, his command spell, hold person, which is awesome, and a victory speech. So during victory speeches, like in every movie, they always tell the good guys the secret plans. That one movie, the comedy, what's his name? The bad guy who always tells the 007 character, everything that's happening, his plans for conquering the planet for $1 million. I will launch the missile. What is that movie called? Oh, well. Okay, so anyway, I gave this to one of the Dungeon Masters, and he loved it, so he's going to use it. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. This is the one I created during the week, too. This is the actual Great Druid. So this is new. So the Great Druid is not what you see in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer. Yeah, let's see. Scroll down here. Parsimon? No, that's the Ranger. Sorry. Where's that Ranger? Where's that Druid at? Anyway, it's not that Druid. It's not that girl Druid. So in the 576 Common Year, this is the Great Druid. It took a lot of talk with all my guys in Three Orcs channel to figure this out. This is him. He's the gnome druid. And that other lady takes over later in the campaign for the Living Greyhawk era. So this took quite a bit of research to figure this out. Also, there's no information anywhere on the internet in any of the Living Greyhawk modules about this character except for one-liners. So we had to come up with this. We had to figure this all out. Make sure it fits with Greyhawk canon. Not just Living Greyhawk canon, but World of Greyhawk canon. And it does. It fits everything you need to know about them, including the Eurofland history. So it's all here. Everything you need to know about the Hateful Wars, the reformation of the Gnarley Rangers, the Grand Druid of the Flyness, all this stuff. His relationships with the Gnarley Rangers and the Druids. And they all have their own links, too. Then there's Annika, the new ranger, right there. So everything you need to know about him. Also his secrets and his mysteries, too. And even a little thing about Vecna, because he goes back. His current concerns. He doesn't want to go. He's advising against the war with divers. He's warned warned the archdruids of the signs of the stars and roots. He helps young leaders rise like Annika. Dungeon Master notes, adventuring hooks. And of course, on the right-hand side is his stat block and artwork. I made sure his badger was big. You know, large badgers are 3 feet tall, by the way, 3 feet long. I had to Google that, how big a badger was. They're 2 to 3 feet long, and since it's a companion animal for a druid, I made him the largest I could. And I made him that size to fit the imagery of the picture, so it looks good. And down below is the companion, the badger stat block too. But this stat block was like a dire badger. Oh, I screwed up. Sorry. That's a dire badger. It's the wrong stat block. It does not have 176 hit points. Dang it. All right, I'm going to write this one down. I have to go back and edit. This is why I need you guys in 3 Orcs Discord. Okay, next one was updated the hunting cabin. I added the Sacred Stone Monastery. So this is the outpost for the Earth Temple. So Lara's Moat House is the outpost for the Greater Temple. And Gygax said in many interviews and in the module that there are other outposts out there. And also he said that there should be outposts for each of the temples too. So this is an abandoned monastery. And I got this map and this description of this place from the Apocalypse module, 5th edition Apocalypse module, Princes of the Apocalypse from Wizards of the Coast. And it's an abandoned monastery, and the Earth Temple moved in. And they're running raids from here. And it's only like 5 miles to the west in the Cron Hills from the village of Hamlet. And guess what? The Gift of Beauty is here. So we have a Dungeon Master right now in the middle of running the Gift of Beauty. That's a huge pivotal quest in the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. It's massive. It's one of the most important quests there is. It's what's happening right now. And the Temple of Elemental Evil agents are behind it. So basically what happened was Queen Yolanda closed the borders to Selene. She's sick of everybody. After the Hateful Wars, she doesn't want anything to do with anybody. No more political ties. Of course, the Knights of Luna ignore her, and so does certain elves. They go off on their own, cross the borders, and get into trouble all the time. But as a country, she's closed the borders. So what the Viscount of Verbobonc, the Druid, the clerics, I can't remember their name, bishops of Valuna. I forgot what they call the Valunian clerics there. Anyway, Valuna, Fiorandi, and the druids of the Gnarley Forest, they all created these beautiful works of art, these gifts. And they put them all into a chest, beautifully carved chest with nature symbols all over it, drawings, pictures of landscapes and stuff made of ipwood, and the symbol of Reo is on it. And so this gift of beauty was sent with a delegation of clerics of Reo and other faiths to Selene. So they're traveling south down the Long Road, past the village of Hamlet, past Sheer Knob, to Ostfirk. They check in there, spend the night. Lord Delview, he's all happy about it. That's cool. This is all before the campaign starts. And just when they get within a mile of the border of Selene, they're ambushed. And the Gift of Beauty is gone, and most of the delegation has been slaughtered. All the guards, they're all dead. And so the mounted borderers and the rangers went there to investigate, to find out what happened. And a couple survivors. So they picked up the survivors, returned them. So there is a survivor at the mounted border station in Ostfirk. So the players, there's a bunch of quest plots to get them involved. One of them is, a couple of them are in the city of Verbobonc to start the campaign off. But there's also like Ranger Knight Win. If there's a ranger or druid in your group, he'll meet them somewhere, like around Village of Hamlet or something, and he'll present the quest to them. I need you to go down there, investigate, find this Gift of Beauty, and return it. Deliver it to Selene or return it to the Reo or something. And so that's a way to get that going. And it's huge. It's extremely important. So what happened was the Earth Elemental raided it with the help of the Gnolls from the Lortmill Mountains, the Jagged Fang clan. And they took it. And sure enough, they're holed up here. if the players are quick enough, then you might be able to catch up with them before they get here. But I don't know. It depends how you run your campaign. But I pretty much decided that it's going to be here by the time the players get involved because they're so busy doing some other stuff. It takes them forever to get down to Ostwerk. These characters here on the right, they're not really Greyhawk. They're Forgotten Realms. So I outlined the rooms here. They're all described, but it's not for Greyhawk. So if you were to use this place in your campaign, and I need to do this later, it has to be rewritten. It has to be written with Greyhawk lore. It has to be rekeyed. It has to be repopulated with Earth Temple agents, you know, their guards and stuff, and also brigands and bandits and some other cool creatures like a bullet. I'm gonna put a bullet in the courtyard. That's gonna be fun. Maybe I'll have the leader here riding the bullet, fully armored, just slaughter the party. So there really isn't a monk here. If you wanted to have a monk be in the temple, Earth Temple, you could. You can create any character you want. I just haven't gotten to this yet. The reason I haven't done any of these modules yet is because I'm trying to build the foundation of this campaign. The building blocks, the foundation, it has to be done first. So then you can write these modules on top of it, because the locations and all the NPCs and all the organizations are done, the foundation, and then you can run these adventures and write these modules for it, the campaign. After I finish with Noel and Twilight Falls, I think I'm going to start tackling some of these modules, because I got too many Dungeon Masters asking for them. And so what I do is I send them what I have, because I really can't share them publicly. I shouldn't even share this, tell you the truth. I just did it temporarily. I should take it down. And then I help them in their private campaigns. I send them articles and give them suggestions of what to do to help them pull it off. Yeah, let me go ahead and take this offline. So how do I do that? Article. Well, let's see. Published. Draft mode. Sorry. Okay, so Earth Temple Raider Camp. Aha, you're going to like this. This is 100% mine. So you don't have to use the monastery. You can use this too, or both. So there is an Earth Temple Raider camp in the Cron Hills. So the camp is run by where is he? He's up top. Sorry, those are the stat blocks below are generic. So you got where is he? Yay. Well, I really haven't. Okay, there he goes. I found it. Right here. Romog is a leader of the Earth Temple. Okay? He recruited Maris of the Earth Temple, which is a commander, a fighter, to organize raids to support the Earth Temple in the Viscounty and Cron Hills and the Gnome area, the Greenway Valley. So he's been raiding the gnomes and human merchants. And I have artwork of the Earth Temple Raiders doing their thing. And he has a companion, and that guy's really badass. His Cadex Nightshade. Let's see if I can't pull him up. Aha. This is where the lightning bolt came from. When the players go to the ambush site, they'll see scars on the earth and trees burst asunder from lightning bolt. This is the guy that did it. So this is a lot of fun. So anyway, these two with like a dozen or more bandits are at this camp. You can use any outdoor camp VTT map that you want. That's what I did. It's not on here though. Anyway, that's what they're doing. I need to place this on the map, but you can put it anywhere you want. Okay, another thing I did was the lair. Okay, you're gonna love this. So the lair I did this week. I did a lot of work. I did a lot this week, didn't I? So the lair. This is a famous green dragon in the middle of the Gnarley Forest. It's part of the living Greyhawk, and I have really hardcore background for this dragon. And this is this isn't just a dragon. This is a major NPC in the campaign. I mean, this is a all-powerful, extremely effective character that takes on that shape, and she can also dress up. And so she'll go. You might the players might encounter her at a tavern and not even know it. And so she's involved with a lot with the Gnarley Rangers, the Druids, the Elves, future encounters, the Green Serpent cult. She's got kobolds and goblins that worship her as the Green Mother. So, oh god. Another thing I did was I wrote some more dialogue for you guys. Flavor text. So this flavor text is what the adventurers perceive when they first get there to the lair. And then I also added dialogue, the initial dialogue to get you going when you first get there. This is just if the players get to the lair. So then that's the lair. So this is her. As you can see, I got more flavor text. And as you can see, I got stats for her too, and more information that you can use, and everything you need to know about her. Oh, so here we go. So this character was for Living Greyhawk. So I went ahead and this is the example I'm showing you right here of before and after 576 Common Year. So in 587 Common Year, rumors that she appeared in Northeast Venzator. So she's originally from the Welkwood, by the way, if you read all this. And back in the 576 Common Year, she actually moved back. She moved to the Gnarley Forest at that lair location. Now rumors are going around. This band of the Silver Spear is just an adventuring group that Hologot was running, you know, in 591 Common Year. I just left it there, just, I don't know, for information. You know, it's probably not going to have anything to do with your campaign, but it gives you an idea of what happened or what could happen. All right, now next is, so Istis makes an appearance in the campaign. I try to pull in a lot of things in the campaign to really expand the scope of this campaign, to give it a lot of meat. Now, Istis is the god of fate, and the priestess in the city of Verbobonc makes an appearance, takes one of the players aside, and there's a whole speech here, full dialogue. So she takes him to the tent and gives him his reading, and actually gives him a prophecy. This prophecy here is 100% related right here to the first module on the list, Global Thermonuclear War. No. The first module on the list, Noble Ambitions. So I start my campaigns off with Noble Ambitions from Living Greyhawks, the very first module. And Lady Eleanor recruits the players to retrieve the treasures of Osbury lost during the Battle of Emerdy Meadows, during the war. And she found out this madman showed up at Osbury Manor babbling some crazy stuff. Guess what? You'll never guess who this priest is. It's the priest of Ro, part of the delegation to the Gift of Beauty. I hope no players are watching this. So anyway, she wants them to go to this ancient Shul temple in the Gnarley Forest at the edge of the Fens of Tor, and to go retrieve her lost treasures of Osbury, return her the Jewel of Osbury and the Sword of Osbury, and no, the players can't keep it. If they do, then she's going to hate them. So anyway, after all getting this quest, this Istis priestess shows up in the market square, takes her into his tent, and gives him this prophecy. So a lot of things like this happen in the campaign. Just layers and layers. You know, sometimes the players get a little lost. That's why I write in-depth session reports, and I give 100 experience points rewards for if they can prove they read it. Sometimes they're so lazy they don't do it. Okay, I also updated the Great Lizard King. This one is was done 2 weeks ago, but so this is a plot. So the Great Lizard King is based on the I2 module, the Great Lizard King, Tomb of the Great Lizard King. This isn't the Great Lizard King; it's a different one. And so basically, this I talked about this in the last video about the Lizardman village in the Fens of Tor. So I went ahead and I updated the plot here. And there's a whole history here. It goes back minus 3,000 Common Year. But I updated it for some stuff here. I forgot what I updated, but I did. I think the dragon. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. So one of the Dungeon Masters wanted a black dragon in the Fens of Tor, and I said, yeah, there's a black dragon guarding the tomb of the Great Lizard King in the Fens of Tor. It's an ancient site. It's a tomb. So the dragon has its own article and a name and everything. So it's going to be a big battle. There's going to be the brigands from Nulb, the pirates of Nulb, the Earth Temple, the Water Temple, the Asians of the Viscounty of Verbobonc, because there's one that comes to the trade with the villagers, the lizardmen, and she's going to find out about it. And then there's the players. Who's going to get there first? And what's going to happen with that dragon? And who's going to plunder those great magic items and the tomb before anybody else does? Players better hope the agents of the Temple of Elemental Evil don't get that stuff first. That's all I got to say. Because there's artifacts in there. And that'll be a huge benefit to the temple. So, anyway, that's what that's all about. Okay, last one. Oh. I updated this. Oh, I created new artwork. So the top right hand was the old artwork, and I thought that looked too cartoony, so I made new artwork. The reason I did that is for the module for the Dungeon Masters Guild. So currently, I put that out there, an article on what I'm doing with the Dungeon Masters Guild, the Village of Nulb module, and I didn't like that artwork, so I created a new one. And I did something else too, but yeah. So that's all I did. But anyway, yeah, I want to do a better job with the module because people are buying it. And so I'm doing a lot of rewriting and stuff. And I find myself writing more along the lines of Glenn Cook from the Black Company. Real terse and pragmatic. Because I wrote a module for the Black Company back in 1991. And I ran that as a campaign. And so I really like that writing style. It's more militaristic and depressing. So I guess this is, I know I did a lot more than this week, but that's just all I could remember doing, and that's on that list right there. So anybody have any questions before we wrap up my live stream for the night? You guys been quiet listening to me. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's see. We haven't had any updates of chat since you guys asked that last question. My video is a little bit laggy, so I have to give you guys a chance to say something. But my plans for next week. That's right. So real quick to wrap this up, I'm working on the Dungeon Master Guild module for the Village of Nulb. I'm on location 3 right now. And there's 50 of them. This is gonna be a massive module. I'm almost done with the Twilight Falls. That map of the lower level of the Lizardman Village, that's going to take me a couple of weeks, depending how bored I get every night working on it. And, I'm trying to get together with Hologon to get those 4 clans done. The big hole in the middle of the Gnarley Forest. And, and as soon as those clans are done, it's going to affect many other articles. The leaders and their politics. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back to all the other articles and update them. They have anything to do with the Elves of the Gnarley. So that's a big deal. I definitely want to get that behind me. All right, well, I gave you guys a few minutes here to see if you're still here. Let me check my stream, see if anybody's even in here anymore. 2 watching. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. Well, I hope you liked this live stream. This is my second one I've done, and it seemed to have gone well. All my tools are working. Except for that bottom thing, but yeah, I got everything going, and I did what I said I was going to do, and I'm pretty happy with that. Well, if you guys like my live streams, want me to continue doing this every week, let me know, because right now I see the main purpose of it is just to update everybody. It's our progress every week, And if you want to get more involved in this campaign, you can come join the Patreon. Well, all my stuff is in general free on my Patreon. You know, the maps and articles and stuff. But more of the higher resolution versions of that stuff, you have to be a Patreon member to get. Also, you can join the Three Orcs Discord to collaborate, or just listen, or just drop in and say hi, or actually help us out with these articles, or just give your opinion. You're more than welcome to join us, because all the Dungeon Masters so far on the Three Orcs Discord channel are diehard Greyhawk Dungeon Masters that have been doing this for a long time, and these guys have a lot of experience with Greyhawk, and they're big fans, and you really enjoy talking to them. This is probably the most friendly and most fruitful and inspired Discord channel for any D&D channel you've probably ever been to. I mean, this one definitely, has a lot of value, I noticed. And I belonged to a lot of Discord channels over the last 7 years, and I was always disappointed. A lot of them are dead, or a lot of them aren't very useful. And we're very friendly and very helpful, and always give advice and give freely. So, well, thank you for joining my live stream, and may your dice ever roll true, and I hope your players like your campaign as much as mine have. Have a good night.